All right. Okay. All right. First episode, Debunked, the Gentiles. First episode. All right. Trying this new thing out. Okay. What inspired me to do this, was the apostles and elders, making episodes and things like that. So, I took that on, from Apostle Kabar, Apostle Ramlab, Apostle Tahar. Okay. And just giving them the credit, because they gave me the inspiration to do it. All right, which ultimately the inspiration came from, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Okay, but episode one debunked. First off, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bashim Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders. Okay, a great millstone who teach well. All right, and rule well. Okay. I want to say shalom to you, brothers. All right. To the Akim out there on the highways and byways. Okay. Risking their lives and their freedom. Okay. To do so. All right. And making their bodies a living sacrifice. I want to say shalom to you, brothers, as well. Keep up the good fight. Okay. It ain't easy, but a fight ain't meant to be easy. Okay. All right. And to the Akwap that's out there listening and learning. Okay, in silence, as the scriptures told you to do so. Okay, being a teacher of the young women, older women being a teacher of the young women. Okay, and adorning yourself and modest behavior. I want to say shalom to you, sisters. All right. I'm going to get into this first lesson. Like I said, it's called Debunked the Gentiles. All right, Debunk the Gentiles. The reason I want to go into this is because um, it's pretty much a mystery, man. And that mystery has caused a lot of stumbling blocks you know, amongst Israel, let alone, the actual heathen. Okay, why? Because they think that the Gentiles that are grafted in, all right, or the Gentiles that's being saved, where the Lord went to go give His word to the Gentiles, was actual heathens, but it was not so. Okay, and hopefully through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, okay, I will be able to bring that out to you, okay, with the information that was endowed unto me, okay, from my teachers, okay, my elders, my apostles, okay, who taught me this truth. All right. The Lord put me in their aim to be able to learn this truth, 100% truth, the right way. Okay. So first episode debunked, okay, of debunked semicolon Gentiles, the Gentiles. First of all, I want to get into this word debunked. I'm gonna get into right in the lesson. All right. This word debunk, it says expose false or nonsensical claims or sentiments. Right. That word nonsensical means like nonsense, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Absurd. It's just foolish. Okay. But it's definitely foolish to the ones who do not have the spirit to understand this mystery. Okay, so this mystery has been hidden from us and been hidden from the world, right? Well, pretty much from us, because the other nations, they knew who we were. They know who we are. Okay, they understand. There's been countless and numerous information brought out that these other nations knew who who the so-called black man was in America, man. Okay? There's no coincidence in that. Okay? I mean, I'm sorry, there's no like the other nations knew. We the only ones who didn't know. Okay? And that's a part of the mystery, man. That mystery was to be able to hide that from us. Okay, let's look up this word mystery right quick, and then we're gonna get right into the lesson. We like to look up words here, you know, right? Mystery, right? The word mystery, it says religious truth via divine revelation, hidden spiritual significance. You see that, right? And one of the hidden significances about us being, about the Israelites, the so-called black man being, all right, the so-called black man, Native American, okay, Latino, okay, it's not just the black so-called black man, all right. Um, one of those mysteries was us being the Gentiles, man. You know, we were the Gentiles. Pretty much, we were scattered amongst the heathen nations or the Gentile nations. All right, a part of the curse that was in Deuteronomy 24. Um, I believe I'm sorry, Deuteronomy 28 and 64. Okay, and since I brought that up, let's just go right to it. Okay, it was a mystery, man. Okay, and part of that mystery, right, was that, well, hey, we were gonna be scattered amongst these nations. All right, we were gonna be scattered amongst these nations, man. All right, that was a part of our curse. All right, which became a mystery. All right, this says Deuteronomy 28 and 64. This is a part of the curses. Right, let's just go there to prove that. All right, these are the consequences, which really are the curses, right, of being disobedient. Okay, from verse 15 all the way down to 68, right, is the curses. And one of the curses is this: Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64. It says this, and the Lord, okay, shall scatter thee among all people. You see that? All people, okay, from one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, meaning we're going to be in different philosophies, other customs. All right, we were going to wear, other clothes, different clothes. All right, than opposed to what the Lord told us to wear. Okay, we were going to hide ourselves. The Lord hid us amongst the nations. Okay, why? Because what? Due to the serving the other gods in the garden. You know, all right, because Eve was deceived and she gave that philosophy and those customs and that understanding, right? That knowledge of wickedness to Adam. Okay. So because of that curse and because of us not following the law, statute, commandments, that we made a covenant in the wilderness through Moses, okay, these were going to be a part of the curses that the Lord was going to scatter us. All right. It said, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth, even unto the other. And there shalt thou serve other gods, right? Which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Okay. All right. And if you can receive it, man, that wood and stone has caught us up in two of the most Salakia, two of the most biggest so-called gods or religions of them all, which is Christianity, right? And being a Muslim or Islam, okay? Right? That wood represents that cross, right? And that stone represents that Mecca. When you go to Mecca, it's a big stone, that they circle around. You could do the research on it yourself, all right? But it's idolatry, man, pretty much. Verse 65 says, and among these nations, right? You see that? Among these heathen nations, right? Or among these Gentile nations, right? Okay. Shalt thou find no ease. And when we were in captivity, all right, or under the rulership in these other nations, man, we found no ease, man. Okay. These nations put their foot on thy neck, man. Okay? It says, shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy feet have rest. Right? Because they worked us to death, man. Especially in Egypt. All right? They served us with rigor, as the scriptures say. Right? And what we know, because we can relate that to today, in modern times, all right, or up to date times, I would say, during the slavery, man, during the transatlantic slave trade, right? Even to now, man. It says, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. When we don't have rest, you know, in this captivity, right? Why? Because hey, this is not our rest, pretty much. Okay, this is not our rest. Okay, and it said, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart. Right, we were gonna be fearful, man. Right? He put the spirit of fear in us, man. Okay, because of our disobedience, man, amongst all these other nations, man, and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. Right. Okay. So this is part of the curses, man. All right. A part of the curse was us being what? Scattered among all people. Right. Scattered among all people. Amen. We were the ones who made that covenant. All right. So the Lord gave us, okay, which are the Israelites, that understanding. He showed his word to, let's go to that. He showed his word to us, man. Okay. He showed his word what? To the Israelites, man. All right. He wasn't dealing with no other nation. Okay. So why would he change now? Okay. Does the Lord change? No, he do not. Okay. This is Psalms chapter 40, 147, and let's start at let's start at 15. He sendeth forth his commandment, right, upon earth. His word runneth very swiftly. All right. It said, he giveth snow like wool, right? He scattereth the hoarfrost like ashes, right? He casteth forth his ice like morsel. Who can stand before his cold? Here's the point. The point is in 19 and 8 and 20. It says, he sendeth out his word and melt them, right? He causes his wind to blow, right, which is the spirit, and the waters flow, right? It says, he showeth his word unto Jacob. Who's that? All right. Jacob, his name was turned into what? Israel. All right, which is Yashra, okay, in the Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew. He said his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. You see that? It's showing you right here. Okay. Where did this happen, man? In the wilderness, man. Okay. When Moses sprinkled that blood on us, man. All right. We made that covenant. Okay. Saying that we was going to do these laws, man, and do these commandments. Okay. It says, he have not dealt so with any nation. You see that? So how if the Lord changes not, how is the Lord dealing with other Gentiles or other the Gentile nations, the actual Gentile nations? Okay, he said he have not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, you see that they have not known him. Praise ye the Lord. Okay, so with that being said, man, the Lord ain't dealing with these other nations, man. He not changing. He hasn't cast away his people, right? He hasn't cast away his people. Paul said, God forbid, man. Right? Because he also is Israelite. All right, from the tribe of Benjamin. Okay, and you got a lot of people thinking Paul was a Roman. Yeah, he was a Roman citizen. Okay, all right. But guess what? He was an Israelite. He said it himself, from the tribe of Benjamin. No different than what we are in America right now. Correct? But our roots don't go back to America. Right? We're just American citizens, right? We're slaves and citizens for America. Okay? But our roots go back to Israel, okay? Because Jerusalem is the mother of us all right? Which is the land, okay? Okay, so right, so the Lord ain't dealing with these other nations, man. So how could he deal with the other nations in the New Testament? All right, he wasn't dealing with them in the Old Testament. All right, so how is he dealing with these other nations in the New Testament? Okay, okay, and the heathen would never have righteousness, righteous ways, man, to be put in their inward parts, right? Let's get that in Jeremiah 30:31. Let's start in let's get that in Jeremiah 31. All right, Jeremiah 31:31 says this. Okay, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant. Okay, with the house of what? Israel. You see that? That new covenant is going to be with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. You see that? Right? That new covenant was going to be with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. You see that? The house of Judah is Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Okay? And the house of Israel were the other 10 tribes. Okay? So how is he dealing with the other people? Well, this is prophecy saying it's going to be what? A new covenant. It says it says this, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt. You see that? That happened with Moses, man. Okay, which my covenant they break. You see that? Although I was an husband unto them, saith the Lord. You see that? So this is talking about what? The covenant with Israel, the house of Israel, and the house of Judah. That new covenant, right? You see that? And when Yahweh Shai came, that's when the new covenant was was implemented. Okay, okay. Hence, this is how that we have the New Testament now. Okay, but guess what? He has not cast away his people. All right, the same people that he was dealing with. What it said, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my law, okay, into their inward parts. You see that? It said with Israel, though, and write in their hearts, okay, and will be their God, which is the Most High, will be their power, and they shall be my people. And that's it, okay? And that's it right there, okay? So that new covenant was not for for other for other nations, man. That covenant was for who? The Israelites, man. Okay? It's a mystery, man. The understanding of the Gentiles is a mystery. But if you have the spirit of power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, you would get understanding. Okay? You would have that understanding pretty much. Okay? Knowing that what? We were scattered in these different nations, right? And we started to take on their customs. All right? No different than what Adam and Eve did, okay, in the garden when they sowed fig leaves, okay, on them. Let's go there. Let's try to get that right quick, and then we're gonna move around to Colossians, Genesis chapter 3. Okay, Genesis chapter 3, right? This is after the serpent came and beguiled Eve, all right, beguiled Eve, right, and she ate of the tree, right, which was she ate of the knowledge of wickedness, man. She soaked it up and she learned it and she understood those ways. Okay. And before that, they didn't know evil, but now they knew evil. Okay. So I'm gonna start at I'm gonna make the point. I'm gonna start at 6. It said, and when the woman saw that the tree was good, right, for food, right? She saw that it was good for food. It was pleasant to her eyes. It said, and that it was pleasant to her eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise. Right? Yeah, it made her wise in wickedness. Right? She knew about wickedness now. Okay. It says she took of the fruit, okay, thereof, and did eat, right? Meaning she learned and soaked up the ways of that evil, okay, which is idolatry and all those things, okay, divination, okay. It says she took the fruit of thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband, and he did eat. Right. So she showed that wickedness and that knowledge of wickedness to her husband, Adam. Okay. And him being a simp didn't check her, knowing that he was given the laws. He was given an understanding of what to do and what not to do. Okay, both of them was, but he let her deceive him. She was deceived, right? But he fell right along with it. But here's the point right here, and the eyes of them both were open, right? Their eyes of both, and they knew that they were naked, meaning they knew, right, that they were in sin, right? And so they was ashamed. Okay, it says, and they sewed fig leaves, right, together and made themselves aprons, right? And that wasn't our garments, that wasn't our covering. Okay, you see that? So this is pretty much they were what? Hiding amongst those other nations. Okay, they were hiding amongst those other nations. This is a metaphor. All right, the word naked meaning what? They were sinning. They were caught in their sin. All right, all right, and they knew that they were naked, right? So, um, hopefully you got that understanding, you know. Let me see. Right. So yeah, they sold fig leaves. Oh, yeah, they sold fig leaves, man. Okay, pretty much together and made themselves aprons, man. All right. So they pretty much they was hiding amongst those other nations, man, the other customers. All right. So let's go to right now. Let's go to Colossians. All right, chapter 1. All right. Let's go to Colossians chapter 1. We start at what? Verse 25. It says this. Slack it. It says, whereof I am made a minister according to the dispensation, okay, of the most high power, which is given to you, to me for you, to fulfill the word of the most high. Right? Okay, yeah, because it was written that the Israelites would be cast off and scattered. Okay, would be what? Discontinued from our heritage. Okay, remember that in Jeremiah 17 and 4. Okay, we were the ones who discontinued from our heritage, right? And scattered amongst the other nations. Okay? You see that? Hey, but the Lord, what he performed a miracle, right? Through Paul, because Paul was the one who was sent to the Gentiles. Okay? And Peter was the one who stayed with the circumcised. And Paul was who ones who stayed for the uncircumcised, which were the Gentiles scattered amongst the other nations. Okay, yeah. It says, it says, right, because we in Colossians right now, because hey, Paul, the one who wrote this book. It says this, verse 26, even the mystery which hath been hid from ages and from generations, but now is made manifest to the saints. You see that? It's been hid from us. That's why I said the other nations knew, right? It's been hid from us. It said, but now is made manifest to the saints, right? And who the saints, man? The saints are the Israelites, man. Okay. Pursuing the Psalms what? 50 and 5. Okay. Psalms 148, 14. Hey, the Israelites are the saints, man. Okay, so it was a big mystery, right? It was a big mystery that we were the Gentiles. We were the ones who was getting grafted in. Okay, because we were already in the flock. We were already a part of the stock. Okay, so we were the big mystery. It says for has been hid from ages and from generations, right? Lost sheep. Okay, we were the lost sheep, and now we're found. Okay, where were we found? Scattered amongst the other nations. You see what I'm saying? Because we were Gentiles. Okay, at one point, hey, that we were considered as Gentiles. Okay, especially to the circumcision, we were considered as Gentiles. Why? Because we were wearing their clothes, we were serving their gods. Okay, we were eating their foods, abominable foods. Okay, no different than how we see now at these Chinese spots. Okay, they eat squid and swine and dog and cat. Okay, we were doing those things back then. Okay, and it's no different. There's nothing new under the sun, pursuing Ecclesiastes. Okay, chapter 1. All right, there's nothing new under the sun, and what was done then is going on now. Okay, those nations are among us, and we're scattered among those nations. You see what I'm saying? And those nations, what? Got a rule over us. They got a one up over us. Okay. And what we did was assimilated to their cultures. Okay. We assimilated to their customs. Okay. That's how we became Gentiles. We were considered Gentiles. All right. Um, right. Even the mystery which have been hid from ages and from generations, but now is made manifest to the saints, right? And that mystery, one of those mysteries, like I say, what's that? Debunked, being the Gentiles. We were the Gentiles. Okay. It says, to whom the Most High would make known what is the riches of the glory of this mystery. What? Among the Gentiles. You see that? Which are the saints. You see that? Which is a Mashiach in you, the hope of glory. You see that? So we were the Gentiles. Okay. This mystery was going to be known to the Gentiles. Okay. You see that? Why? Because it was known that way the circumcision or the ones who was in the law, the Pharisees and the Sadducees, hey man, they wasn't receiving Yahweh Shai. Okay. They didn't have the spirit, man. Okay. So hey man, this word got to be preached. Okay. It's still this word still got to go out amongst the Gentiles, which we were it. Because the Lord has what he had, he's gonna do that mass gathering. Okay. He's gonna do that mass gathering. Okay. And that's what it's about. Right? So now pretty much the spirit, the Holy Spirit gonna be placed on the Gentiles, which were the Israelites, okay, that were scattered in these other nations. Okay. Because at the time you had the circumcision, the southern kingdom, who looked down amongst the Israelites, okay, who was not raised in the and cultivated in the customs, okay, as being an Israelite, pretty much. Okay. The Gentiles, hey, they were raised serving other idols, okay, and serving other gods. All right. So pretty much when you're reading about the Gentiles, hey, you're reading about yourself as an Israelite, as a so-called black man, so-called Mexican, all right, so-called Puerto Rican. Okay. You're reading about yourself. Why? Because you were considered a Gentile before you woke up to the truth. All right, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You were considered a Gentile. You were serving other idols. You were serving Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter. Okay. You were worshiping, going to church on Sundays. Okay. You were eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobster. Okay. Abominable things. Okay. And then what? You heard the word. Okay, and you came to yourself, well, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, okay, woke you up to this truth. But when you're speaking about the Gentiles, okay, that's getting grafted back in, and Paul went to go speak to the Gentile, guess what? He was going to speaking to you. Pretty much, you grew up in the Gentile state of mind in America. You get it? And then you learned your true heritage. You started to remember yourself and where you came from, right? You started to track your history back, what? Way past slavery that was in the Americas, right? Way past Africa, okay? You start to claim yourself as Israel or the Israelites, okay? And that word, that spirit got in you, okay? And this is why, hopefully, this is why you reading watching this video, okay? But it's no different. Because hey, we reading about ourselves, man. Why? Because we in Babylon the Great. All right. And when we heard the gospel, right? Or heard the word of our true history, hey, we left those heathenistic customs, man, and that culture, right? And we turned back to the Heavenly Father, man. We turned back to our own way. Okay. Let's get back into the scriptures. It says this, verse 28. Uh Right. It says, well, we proved the point, but I'm gonna read 28. It says, whom we preach, warning every man and teaching every man in all wisdom, that we may present every man perfect in Yahweh Shai Mashiach. Okay. Whereunto I also labor, striving according to his working, and worketh in the mighty, in me mightily. You see that? So the point was proven because it was the Gentiles, a mystery among the Gentiles. You see that? It was a mystery, right? It was a mystery, man. Okay, right? So let's go to verse 15. It says this, who is the image of the invisible power, the firstborn, right, of every creature. Okay, which is Yahweh Shai. It says, for by him we are all, I'm saying, were all things created. That was Yahweh Shai, man. In the beginning was the word, right? And the word was with the powers. Okay, John 1 and 1. For by him were all things created, right? So Yahweh Shai, he spearheaded, creating the heavens and the earth, along with the other angels, okay, that are in heaven and that are in earth. You see that? Visible and invisible. Hey, the Lord created that. The Lord Yahweh Shai created that by way of Yahweh. It said, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created by him and for him. You see that? That's it. Okay? All things. Yeah. So let's go to all things were created by him. Let's go to Galatians. All right. Yeah. Let's go to Galatians 1. Let's go to verse 15. Okay. It says this. It said, but when it pleased the Most High, who separated me from my mother's womb and called me by his grace, the Lord called us by his grace to know this truth, man. To have this treasure in this earthen vessel, as Paul says. All right. This is a treasure in an earthen vessel, right? Which is in these bodies, man. Okay. It said, verse 16, to reveal his son in me. You see that? Hey, when you look at yourself, man, you should be looking at Yahweh Shai. Okay. That I might preach him among the what? The heathen. You see that? Immediately I conferred not with flesh and blood. You see that? Because this is a spiritual battle, man. Okay. But the point is among the heathen. Hey, Yahweh Shai knew that we were what? Scattered among the heathen. All right, cause that's why he woke up Paul to go speak to the Gentile. Okay, the point is among the heathen. All right, like it says in Deuteronomy 28:64, man. Hey, we were scattered amongst the people, man. All people. Okay, this is how we became Gentiles, man. Right. An example of that is the Maccabees, man. Once you go to the Maccabees, okay, we made a covenant with the heathen, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. We made a covenant with the heathen, man. All right. This is an example of us making that covenant, man. And this is how we became Gentiles and all these other heathen heathen nations, Gentile nations, right? This time during the Maccabees, this was the time during the Greeks, okay? And we made covenants, man, with these other nations, right? And we put off our custom. We put off our heritage. We discontinued from our heritage. We didn't want to deal at it. We didn't want to deal with our heritage anymore. Okay? And this is an example right here during the Maccabees time, the time of the Maccabees, right? This is First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11. It said, in those days went there out of Israel, right? Out of the nation of Israel, wicked men. Yes, it was wicked men, man, out of the nation of Israel. Okay, who persuaded many. You see that? You can't beat them, join them, man. Right? And they do that to this day. They do that to this day, man. You got your celebrities, all right, your entertainers, all right. They are there not for your good, man. They there to persuade you, okay, to uplift this kingdom. They are there to persuade you what? To say, okay, hey, if you work hard, man, you can get what I got. Right? Not knowing that they behind the scenes doing a lot of abominable things to get that. Okay? Let me read. It said, in those days when there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let's go and make a covenant with the heathen. You see that? What's a covenant? An agreement, man. A marriage. Okay? It's a marriage, man. Okay? It's like it. Yeah, it's a marriage, man. Let's go make a covenant with the heathen. You see that? That that are round about us. You see that? It says, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. And that's what happened in the land of Egypt, man. When the Lord delivered us out of Egypt, man, they wanted to go back. They wanted to go back into Egypt. This is the same thing that's happening in Greece with the during the Greeks when we was in captivity. You see that? So this is no different, man. This is how we became Gentiles, man. Why? Because we made covenants with the heathen and with the actual Gentile, the other neither heathen country, people, right? So we became heathens and Gentiles right along with them because we started to make covenants with them. It said, verse 12. So this device pleased them well. You see that? Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king. You see that? Now the modern day king is the president, or you know what I'm saying? Yep, he's the modern day pharaoh. It said who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen. You see that? They pleaded and begged, man, to be like the heathen, man. This is how we became Gentiles, right? This is how we became Gentiles. I hope y'all hearing this. It said, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem. You see that? Right today, and today they call it what? A gym or a gymnasium. Okay? According to the customs of the heathen, man. We wasn't in the we wasn't in that doing that type of stuff. A place of exercise. You see that? Hey, they call it what's they call it gymnos in the Greek? right? Means what? To work out naked means naked, I believe, right? And as you can see through history, okay, through history, you can see those naked those Greek, artifacts, right? They were naked, man. They were wrestling naked. That's where that Greco-Roman wrestling, okay, came from. All right, do your history, man. Know the history, and guess what? We were Hellenized during that time, man. Hellenized, being a Hellenist was being, well, you was a what? A Greek who was really an Israelite. He was really a Jew. Okay, hey, look it up for yourself. To be Hellenized, okay? These were Greek-speaking Jews who made a covenant with the heathen. You see that? With the Greeks. You see that? Okay? And made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant. What holy covenant did they forsake, man? You see that? Here get that word uncircumcised. You see that? Right? Another word for being uncircumcised is being a what? Gentile or heathen. Right? Why? Because they didn't believe in us being circumcised physically. That was a part of our law. But now we're talking not just physically, spiritually uncircumcised. Because it says it right here. It made themselves uncircumcised. Because this is how they made themselves uncircumcised. They forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief. You see that? They were sold to do evil, man. Okay? So this is the point. This is how we became Gentiles, right? A lot of us pleaded and begged, right, to go back to the Greeks, to go back to Egypt. Guess what? In our deliverance now, where the Lord is gathering us now, guess what? We're going to have Israelites, right? So-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, dying, fighting, and clawing for America not to fall. They going to want to go back to this, all right? So the same thing that went on then is happening right now. You got to put yourself right in the mix. Okay? The same thing that was happening then, it happens now. Okay? We got to understand, man. Paul came to teach the Gentiles or the uncircumcision, right? Ain't that what this said, right? Made themselves uncircumcised. So Paul came to the uncircumcision. Okay? Now these were the offspring of the people who made a covenant right here. That's who Paul came to. Think about that, man. Paul came to the people, right, or the children who made a covenant with the Greeks during this time. Alexander the Greek, okay? Which Alexander the Greek, what? It was in here, okay? Let's see if I can pull him up. Alexander. Yeah, he was in the Maccabees. I ain't got time to look for it, but it's in here. Okay? Right here, actually. So Alexander reigned for 12 years. This is the son of Philip, man. Alexander, the son of Philip. This is Alexander the Great right here, or the Greek. This is the history. This is why they took the Apocrypha, right, out of the Holy Scriptures, man. Okay? And that's going to be another history, too. That's going to be another debunk right there, right? The Apocrypha, man. That's another mystery, right? But they had to hide this information. They had to hide this history, man. Right? Why? Because we were going to link ourselves with this history. And once we link ourselves and who we are, we're able to link who they are. Okay? These are the sons of Esau, man, which are the Edomites, which turned into Romans, Greeks. Okay? Do your history, man. History does matter. Okay? But this is how we became Gentiles, man. Okay? And this is who Paul came to speak to. The remnant of these people, of these children who made a covenant with the Greeks. Okay? um, let's go to Galatians 2. All right? Go to Galatians chapter 2. All right? Verse 7. It says, okay, but contrary wise, right? When they saw that the gospel of the what? The uncircumcision. Remember, we just read that in the Maccabees, right? Was committed unto me, who? Unto Paul. As the gospel of the circumcision was what? Unto Peter. So the circumcision, what was the ones, the Israelites who grew up in the custom. You see that, right? And we just seen in the Maccabees what? The uncircumcision, they made themselves uncircumcised, right? So the uncircumcised, like I say, is another word for the Gentiles or the heathen nations, okay, which were Israelites scattered amongst those nations. And that's who he went to go talk to, okay? That's who he went to go talk to, okay? And Peter was the head disciple, right? So Peter was over the circumcision, and Paul went to the uncircumcised, which were the Gentiles, who were Israelites scattered amongst these other nations, okay? Peter was the head apostle, man, right? um verse verse 8, it says this: for he that wrought effectually in Peter to the apostleship of the circumcision, you see that, which were the Gentile, I mean, I'm sorry, which were the Israelites, they grew up in the Hebrew and the law and the custom, the same was mighty in me towards the Gentiles. You see that? So the same strength and the spirit and power Yahweh Shem Yahushai that was in Peter, okay, going to the circumcision to help, to teach them, okay, about Yahweh Shah. Guess what? Paul put that same might and that same power behind him, going to the Gentiles, which were the what? The uncircumcision. Okay? You get the coalition now. Okay? It said verse 9, and when James, Cephas, and John, who seemed to be pillars, perceived the grace that was given to me, they gave to me and Barnabas the right hands of fellowship, that we should go. You see that? Unto the heathen. You see that? Unto the heathen. And they unto the circumcision. You see that? Yeah, we were considered heathens, man. We were considered heathens, man. You see that? Hey, man, the Lord drove us into these other nations, right? Let's get that in Deuteronomy chapter 4. It's lucky. Bear with me right quick. Deuteronomy. Right? The Lord drove us into these other nations, man. Okay? Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 26 or 27. Right? It says this: and the Lord shall scatter you among the nations. You see that? Come on now. He's talking to the Israelites here, right? He's talking to the Israelites, man. It says, now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments which I teach you, for to do them, that ye may live and go in and possess the land which the Lord power, Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, right, or Yahweh, um, of your fathers giveth you. You see that? All right. And guess what? In First Maccabees, we just read, hey man, they did away with that covenant, the holy covenant. This is the holy covenant that they did away with. I hope y'all getting it. Okay, I'm hoping I'm not losing you. And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen. You see that? Whither the Lord shall lead you. Look at this, right? The Lord led us into these other nations, man. This is the Lord's movie. It said, and there you shall serve gods, right? The work of men's hands, right? Wood and stone. This is like we read what? In Deuteronomy 28 and 64. Which neither see nor hear nor eat nor smell. You see that? So we were going to be in what? Idolatry, man. Right? We were going to be in idolatry. Other customs, man. Even in the latter days, if that turn the Lord God shall be obedient to his voice. Right, man. So we forsake the covenant, man. I showed you an example of that in Maccabees 1, man. From 13 on, no, from 11 on down, what, to 15, 16. Okay? Right. Hey, man. This is what we do, man. We assimilated with their culture, man. When we was driven amongst these other nations, man. Okay? We mingled in among the heathen. We learned their ways, learned their works. Okay? All right? We started to assimilate with their culture. Let's go to Psalms 106. I hope I'm not losing you. Psalms chapter 106, right? Yeah. I wrote these scriptures down. So I'm on schedule. It says Psalms 106 and 36. It says, and they served other idols, man. You see that? But we mingled among, let's start at 35. It says this Psalms 136 and 35. Okay. Uh-huh. It says, but were mingled among the heathen. Who was mingled among the heathen? Right? We just read that in First Maccabees, right? Right? And learned their works. Look at that. Ain't that what we just read in First Maccabees from 11 on down to 15 and 16? We learned their works, man. Just like Eve and Adam and Eve learned the works of the serpent, of evil. You see that? Sold fig leaves and all that stuff on them, right? Tried to hide amongst the other nations, man. Read it again. But were mingled among the heathen, and learned their ways. Let's look at that word mingled. Let's look right here. you know? But we're mingled, man. Oh, look at it say. To pledge, right? To pledge, man, meaning make a covenant. It said exchange, mortgage, right? You gauge in your death. Mortgage, right? That word mort is death, like muerte in the Spanish. It said mort, gauge. You see that? You pretty much measuring your own death. Engage. You see that? They was married. It says undertake, occupy, give pledges, right? Uh Pretty much being married, man. Take a pledge, giving a pledge. You see that? Right? So what did they exchange? It said to exchange. They exchanged from their way, okay, that the Lord gave them, the holy covenant, to these ways, right? And made a pledge and a covenant with death. Ooh, let's get that. They made a covenant with death, man. Right? That's crazy because it say pledge, mortgage, right? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, made a covenant with death, man. All right. This is Isaiah chapter 28 and 15. Let's go to it right quick. Right? You see that? We just look up. We just looked up. We just looked up. Slocky. That word was said. What? Engaged. Right? It said. It said. Hey, we made a covenant, man. Pretty much. Isaiah 28:15 says, "Because ye have said, we made a covenant with death." That's exactly what happened. And with hell. You see that? Are we at agreement? It says, when the overflowing scourges shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. All right. For we have made lies our refuge. You see that? Under these other customs and other nations, man. And under falsehood. Ooh, that's the definition of what? That's the definition of what? Debunk. You see that? That goes back to what we started off with. Expose false. That's what we doing. So we really debunking or exposing the falsehoods of what? These other nations. Wow. You see that? We have made a covenant with death. All right. And held an agreement we at. Right? You see that? You see that? And under falsehoods have we hid ourselves. You see that? Boom. Meaning they hid themselves what? Under these other customs. The hidden under the heathen nations, man. And this is where Paul, the Lord gave or ordinance for Paul to go to the Gentiles and bring us out of these falsehoods. Okay? It says, therefore, thus, verse 16, therefore, thus said the Lord power, behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation, a stone, a fried stone, a precious cornerstone, right? Right? A sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste, right? Which is Yahweh Shai. Judgment also will lay to the line and righteousness to the plummet. Okay. Uh it said, and the hell shall sweep away the refuge of lies. You see that? That's what Paul was doing, man. Okay? Why? Because we was in that under that falsehood. Okay, and we hid ourselves, just like Adam and Eve hid themselves. All right. You see that? Everything's starting to make sense. It says, uh, verse 17, judgment also will I lay to the line and to the righteousness, to the plummet, and the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the water shall overflow the hiding place. You see that? Which is knowledge of the knowledge and wisdom of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? It says, and your covenant with death, right, shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand, right? You see that? So when we mingled and hid ourselves amongst these other nations, right? We was in hell, man. Why? Because we was on the bottom. Hey, the Lord made us to be a holy people unto himself, man. Deuteronomy chapter 7, all right? Talks about unto himself. He didn't we weren't made to serve under these other nations, man. Right? We weren't made to be on the bottom, right? But through sin, when sin crept in, that's when we started. That's when we died. That's what the serpent said. He said, "You should not surely die," but we did die, right? We might not have died physically, which we were going to die physically ultimately, but we wasn't. We was made to be immortal, okay? But we died spiritually, okay? So this is saying, and your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. When the overflowing scourges shall pass through, then ye shall be trodden down by it. Okay? We made a covenant with death, man. Okay? So now you understand how we became Gentiles, man. We became Gentiles because the Lord drove us, okay, into these other nations, man. Okay? And we understand now how Paul, okay, was sent. Okay? He was sent. All right? He was sent to Paul was sent to Slakia. Paul was sent to speak to the uncircumcision, man. Okay, which was what? We proved that which was what? The Gentiles, who were Israelites and scattered in these other nations. Okay, let's go to First Peter 1 and see what this says. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. Peter wrote a letter to those scattered. Let me see. First Peter. First Peter chapter 1. Hmm. Right, right. It says this. First Peter 1, chapter 1. It says, Peter, an apostle of Yahushua Mashiach, right? To the strangers scattered throughout. You see that? He didn't they man, they wasn't writing to the actual, heathen that was in these that was in these lands. They were writing to the scattered Israelites that was among these lands. Okay? You see that? It said Peter, an apostle of Yahushua Mashiach, to the stranger scattered. Who was scattered? The Israelites were scattered, man, amongst these heathen nations. Throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia. You see that? Bithynia. All right? It's telling you right there we were scattered. Peter wrote amongst the strangers scattered. And we were the strangers scattered. It said elect, which are the chosen. That word elect goes in, that word chosen goes to the word electos in the Greek. Okay? It said according to the knowledge of the power of the Father, right? Through sanctification of the Spirit, that's cleansing of the Spirit. You see that? Unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood of Yahweh Mashiach. All right? Grace unto you and peace be multiplied. Okay? It was the elect, man. Right? Okay? Isaiah 45 talks about who's the elect. Verse 4. Let's just get it. We got to get it. Isaiah chapter 45. All right? Isaiah chapter 45, verse 4, it says, for Jacob my servant's sake, right? And Israel mine elect, I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, right? Though thou hast not known me. Okay? So the elect is Israel, man. The Israelites. Okay? The Lord said he put his name, he put his name on our name, man. Okay? Okay? So we know that Peter wrote that letter what to the scattered heathen that was Israelites. Okay? Paul, we know Paul was writing to the Israelites that was scattered. Okay? Right. So let me see. I got a lot of precepts. Okay. But what we gonna do? Oh, let's get this. Let's get this one. Let's get ye know you were Gentiles. Right? Let's get that one. What Paul say that. Paul said that you were Gentiles. Let me see if I can pull it up because I don't have that scripture wrote down. You were Gentiles. Mm, mm, bear with me. Gather them on the church. You were Gentiles. You were Gentiles. Carried away from the dumb idols. Which one is that? Just bear with me. Mm-hmm. 1 Corinthians 12. That's it right there. I had to find it. Right? Salakia. Right? Right. This 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 1. It says, now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, right, which were the Israelites, I would not have you ignorant. It says, Paul said this, ye know that ye were Gentiles. How we were Gentiles. Carried away unto these dumb idols, even as you were led. And who led us into them dumb idols, into them other nations? Who carried us away into them other nations? The Lord has driven us. Okay? And that's how we became Gentiles, man. Right? Paul's saying right here, you were Gentiles. Okay? It just makes sense, man. All of it makes sense. Okay? All of it just makes sense. All right? Let's see if I want to give another one. Let me see. Let's get James 1 and 1. Wait. Yep, we're going to get James 1 and 1, and we're going to probably close out with that. I know. Because the point was proven. The point pretty much was proven. Boom. It says James chapter 1, verse 1. James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, right? To the 12 tribes, right? Which are scattered abroad. That's the point. Okay? That word scattered goes into the word diaspora. All right? It should pull it up on this one. All right. Oh, it probably don't. Yeah, it probably do pull up on this one. Let me see. Diaspora. You see that? Diaspora. Okay. A diaspora. Diaspora. It says a scattering, dispersion. Guess what it says? Of Israelites dispersed among foreign nations. You see that? Of the Christians, it say Christians, which really is the followers of Yahweh Shah Mashiach, who we ignorantly call Jesus Christ, scattered abroad among the Gentiles. You see that? That's how we became Gentiles, man. And this is the first episode of Debunked. All right. And this episode Debunked is the Gentiles. Okay. Call halal abanal Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bashim Rakakadash Wa Baba Kwam Yashrala.